For this rectangular pop-up box card, what we are going to use is an 8.5 by 11 cardstock paper. I'm using this dark green color, and on the long end you will put it in your cutter and you will cut out 4 by 8.5 2 times, 4 by 8.5, and then you will have this section left over. With the remaining section, you're going to put it into your cutter, and it will be long ways, and you will cut it at 5 inches in. You will then cut 2 1-inch pieces, and you will have one section that will be left over. So this remaining piece is 3 by 3.5. These are 5 by 1 inches, and you need 2 of those. Next, we're going to take each piece and we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. With the 2 long pieces, we are then going to take them and we are going to cut them down to 6 inches. So the long side is on the top, and we'll cut it to 6 inches. This is an extra piece. With the long pieces cut, we will then take them in our scoreboard and score at 2 inches down the center of both of them. Next, we will flip these to the long way and score at 2 and 5.5. 2 and 5.5. This next part, what you can do is use your cutter or scissors. I'm going to use scissors, and we're going to cut on the 2-inch line down to the center, and then on the 5.5 line down to the center. So you can just use the score marks that are there as your guide. Here's the 2-inch score, straight down to the center. That's where the center score line is. After we've cut those pieces, where the 5.5 score line is, we're going to come in from the right-hand side and cut an angle. And that piece will then be removed. So it will have looked like this, and we're cutting this piece out. Let's do that to both pieces. Okay, next we're going to do a little bit of burnishing, and we're going to fold in the little tab here on both cards, cardstock. And then we're also going to fold in the end here and burnish that as well. Make sure you have it lined up and burnish. Okay? We can also go ahead and burnish the card flap if you'd like to. There we go. On one side, do not fold over the score line. That's the back of the box card, and we want to keep it that way. you can, on one side, fold over that flap and burnish. Okay, so this is how it will look. You will have burnished all of the pieces on one side and all but one on the other piece. At this stage, many people would go ahead and put the box together and then decorate it. I am going to do something different and decorate the flaps as well as the outside of the cardstock prior to putting it together. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut all the decorative paper out, and you really only need to know 2 measurements. So for the larger block size, this is 3 3/8 by 1 7/8. And that is going to go up here on the outside of the one piece. This is the same measurement going on the bottom. The next measurement that you need to know is this square, and it is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. That's going to go at the top, and this will go at the bottom. Now the pieces that you see here are the exact same measurements as these two, but when you would fold these pieces, when you fold the top of this over, they will go on the the inside basically. Now because the paper I'm using has text on it, I will probably turn this around. I'll have to see when I get to that point of putting it down. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now you know how and where the placement of the decorative paper goes. Okay? On the other panel, we only made 1 cut and 1 score here, and then we scored it inward, but we did not score this big panel here. So on this one, we cut out a larger piece that is 3 3/8 by 3 7/8. And that's going to go here on the outside. This will be the same measurement as the other. And this will go like that. And again, when you flip this down, this piece will go here. Okay? I'm going to move these back down. And then when we have the card facing us this way, I've cut out the same size as this big one to go here on the inside. Okay? Now I'm going to adhere everything down. Again, you can ink the edges if you like, or if you don't want to, that's okay too. So after we've adhered all of the decorative paper, this is what it looks like. And I went with the text reading this way. And this is the other piece. In the end, what will happen is we will put, adhesive there and put that together. And then on this side, add adhesive and put it on the inside there. So you end up with like this little rectangular box. And there's the back side. But what I'm trying to do is decorate first and then put it all together, because to me that just seems easier than trying to work around a rectangle. So the next stage would be to get our 1-inch pieces, and we are going to score those. And I've already scored this one as well, so that they look like this, and they'll go inside the rectangular box. To decorate these 2 pieces, what I've done is printed out 2 sheets from the digital kit. This one that had these smaller, bunches of roses, which is gorgeous, and then this page here that had them a little bit bigger. So when I cut them out, they ended up looking like this because I fussy cut them. And then this one as well. And then I had 2 extra pieces, which I think I'm going to use as layering pieces behind the bigger one. Okay, so now we're going to get these pieces together. For our first piece, what we're going to do is take these smaller roses that have been fussy cut out, and we're going to add them to the base of the 1-inch strip, and I'm going to do it with about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom, because we want to create a staggering look. Okay, just added our glitter glue to the back, and I'm going to adhere it to the base here of this strip. So that's the first piece done. For the second strip, we're going to take the larger roses and we're going to add about 1/4 of an inch of glue on here, and that's how much we will put it up on the strip here, about 1/4 of an inch. It's easier to look at it this way. Okay. So then when you have one in front of the other, you know, that's what you'll see. Now, to do some layering, what I'm going to do is use some foam tape and add it to the base of these 2 pieces here that I'm going to use. So I think I'll cut just a little piece here. Now I'm going to add that to the front. Maybe I should have made it smaller. Let's try this piece. We're going to add this to the front of the roses. And then when we add it, we'll add it back here to create the layering effect. So I'm also moving it up some. I want it to show. Maybe 2 pieces. There we go. Create some dimension here. Let's do the same with the other side. And there you have it. So doubling up the foam was really the right thing to do to give more of a dimension between the 2 pieces, and then you just have these little peaks of those from behind, like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive and build the rectangular box. To get these together, you're going to line up the 2 pieces and then press this over. Okay, so it's flat. Give it a little burnish, and then we're going to repeat that with this one. Add the adhesive to the outside again. And then bring that over and match these up. There, it's easier to lay it down. There, perfect. I'll give that a little burnish. So as you can see, we already have our box, and it's easily maneuvered. It's so slick. Okay, but now our box is all together. Next, we're going to take our larger roses strip here, add adhesive to both sides, and this is on the outside. And we're going to put the ends in, put it down into the box, lining it up to the back side of the box, but you also want it to be all the way back here, the little tag part to be flat against the back there, the back corner. Hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to demonstrate. So here's the flap. We want it to be flush on the top and flush to the back. I think that made more sense. Flush here and flush to the back. Okay? Let's give that a little burnish if we can get in there. Just to make sure we got it. And then see, this is where our flowers are. I'm going to repeat that with the smaller set of roses here on the last strip. And again, we're going to line these up. We'll line them up based on the front of the strip there, okay? So wherever there's a strip, you put that up to it. Flush on the top and straight back against the first, the first strip we have. Flush here and then straight back to the first floral. And burnish. I hope that makes sense. It's hard to show you. This is why I tried to do as much before putting it together. So this is how it looks when you get it all together, and you notice that the floral is actually coming above the back part of it. And this is how it will fold. I thought about putting a big saying here, or we could add it on right here. So our next thing is to add some decorations. What I'm going to do is add a acetate butterfly, and we're going to use a piece of acetate or whatever you might have that's clear. I have a little strip here, I don't know if you can see it. And we're going to add some vellum adhesive to the back of the butterfly, and then adhere the butterfly to the acetate. There we go. I'm going to add a little adhesive to the bottom of the acetate that I have. And I think I'm going to add it here on the front floral strip that we have, so that it kind of covers up the hole here. There. Okay, to finish off the card, I added a foiled sentiment here that says Best Mom, and I've added some transparent sequins, or they call them sapphire glass. They're about 6mm. I got those from AliExpress, and I will link those down below. I am really loving these. They look almost like little raindrops. Added 2 of those, and then I cut out and added a little more of the floral here, as well as I added another whole piece of the floral in the back. So I think this turned out really well. When you close it up, you do see the florals stick out, so you'll have to make sure that your envelope is long enough or wide enough to hold it all. But it does, you know, still get compact. And that may be unusual to have this up so high, but I really like how it turned out. So thank you all for joining me on this discovery of velvet vintage art. I am really loving her designs, and I think they made this little card turn out just fabulous. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you next time.